Assalamu alaikum. Today we will talk about the firmwares for the Taranis and receiver, bootloader, and the communication between the Taranis and the receiver. We will start for the Taranis firmware, which is the system of the Taranis. We'll go to OpenTX website, then download, and here we have different versions of firmwares. We'll take the latest, then download, and here we will go to FRSky website, download. From this website we will download the firmware for the bootloader, the firmware for the receiver, and the firmware for the communication between the receiver and the Taranis or the controller. So here we will choose Taranis X9D Plus or whatever controller you have. Then here we have the firmware of the bootloader. We'll click download, and also here we have the firmware for the communication between the receiver and the Taranis, also download. And by the way, here if we want older versions, and also here if we want older versions, we have these options. Then after downloading we will go to this file. So we will connect the Taranis to the computer. This file is for the communication between the Taranis and the receiver. We have two versions here, FCC and LBT. FCC means the US version or non-Europe version, and the LBT means the Europe version or non-US version. We will put this in the SD card of the Taranis, both versions, and also here we have the firmware of the bootloader. We will put the mode 2, both the Europe and non-Europe. Then we have to decide which version we will use, the Europe or non-Europe. And always make sure to choose mode 2. After putting this in the SD card of the Taranis, we will now move to OpenTX to flash the Taranis itself, the operating system in the Taranis. So here, first of all, we will go to settings. Make sure to choose your correct controller type. In our case, we have FRSky Taranis X9D Plus, and here we have multiple choices of different controllers. Languages, also we will choose English, and here we have some build option. We will leave it empty, and then we will make sure to choose mode 2, and we will check offer to write firmware to transmit after download. Then OK, download, check for updates, then download firmware, save. Now, do you want to write the firmware to the radio or the controller? Yes. Then here use the start screen, which is OpenTX. Here you can put your own picture, as you can see. Okay, check hardware compatibility. You can check or not, it will not make any difference. Then write to TX. Flashing done. Okay, close. Now the process is done. Now we will move to the Taranis and the receiver to show you how to flash from the Taranis. Okay, here we will press long menu, then page. Here we have the firmware file. where we already put all the firmware files. Here there is a file for the bootloader. We have the EU and non-EU. I will go with non-EU mode 2, flash the bootloader, enter, then it will flash. Now the bootloader is done. Then go firmware again. Here I have the FW XM Plus 2.1.0 version. Here we have the FCC and LBT. So also I will take the FCC, but before I have to connect the receiver here. Here I have as following the last three: plus, minus and signal. So in that case I have to switch these cables, because here, as you can see, it's a ground 5 volt S bus, and here is different. The 5 volt is the first one, so I have to switch the 5 volt with the ground. And now it's connected. Then we will go again, menu, firmware, then FCC, which is the non-Europe version, flash external, because we put the receiver externally to the transmitter, enter. Then it will start flashing the receiver. It takes a while to flash. And after that we will flash the communication between the Taranis and the receiver. Okay, then we'll go to the previous file. I have here the RC, then the same version, the FCC, but here I will choose flash internal module. Then I'll press enter. Now it's flashing the communication between the Taranis and the receiver. And after then we will do the binding, and our Taranis and receiver and all the system is working perfect, inshallah. Thank you.